So, good morning. I have the privilege of speaking today. I don't know if it's your privilege for listening, but we'll give it a go, eh? Yeah. Like normal, it's just sharing with you my Bible study and what God's been talking to me in my life. And hopefully it's for someone here as well, okay? So this word is for me more than, it's what I've been going through. So if it's for you, then great. Hopefully you get something out of it. So I was sitting down with the Lord one night and he said, write down your Beatitudes, and I came up with one. So consistently inconsistent. Something that I struggle with personally is keeping the Lord first in my life. Everything that we do, we can put Him first. We can. That's buzzing at me. Something's going to blow. It just came right. So. Working and breaking through strongholds in my life to be able to be more used by the Lord in my surroundings and in those small places. I know I love coming to church, come to church every Sunday, but I think there's more. There's more to it than just that. I'll see if I go the right way. So, the verse here. Did you guys do communion this morning? No. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him. But let him ask in faith, with no doubting. For the one who doubts is like a wave in the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. James 1:5-8. So I thought, go straight for the jugular, Lord. That's a nice verse. Thank you very much. Take it easy. So I was thinking about just the things I'm inconsistent in and things in the past that I've been inconsistent in. What's led me to be a bit of a procrastinator and maybe not do the things I could do straight away to give more time for things that need to be done. So I was like, what Bible stories do we have to look at inconsistencies in the Bible? And there was a story in Exodus about the nation of Israel. And a journey that should have taken 11 to 14 days took 40 years due to disobedience, disbelief, and grumbling. Because of this, God made them wander until they died, allowing a new faithful generation to enter the land. The Israelites longed for Egypt, their place of prison. They were prisoners there. They longed for their captives. I was thinking maybe sometimes do I long for my old life? Maybe, just being honest. Complained about the food and water. No, I don't like that, If it gives you sustenance, take it and move on. Practiced idolatry, sexual immorality, tested God, disobeyed specific commandments, and challenged leadership. Sounds like a family trip in the car to the batch over Christmas. This showed the lack of faith, gratitude, and obedience. Thank the Lord this was the Old Testament and doesn't happen these days, eh? Was the Old Testament gone? Don't think so. It sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Sounds familiar to what's going on in some of our lives, and I'll be straight up. It's things that I struggle with too. So let's not look at a whole nation of people, because of course in a whole group of people, you're going to have some people grumbling, aren't you? What about the leaders? Politicians, are they consistent to their word? Are the leaders of our country stand by what they say? So what biblical examples do we have for that? Well, the first king of Israel, King Saul, in his early reign had military successes and God's Spirit was upon him. But ultimately Saul angered the Lord by his disobedience, pride and jealousy. He violated God's specific commands, offered unlawful sacrifices, and in his self-deception and self-justification feared the people and gave flimsy excuses. I heard a comedian, and he said, I've just reached the new level. And they're like, oh, what's that new level? I don't give reasons why I'm not going somewhere. I was like, what? He was like, someone asked me to a barbecue. I said, nah, nothing. Today we say, look, Johnny's got something on. I can't quite make it, Oh, we're a bit busy at the moment, School's happening. There's an excuse, there's a reason behind everything. And Saul gave flimsy excuses. What excuses did he make? Oh, Samuel wasn't here in time, so I did the sacrifice. Oh, the men were going to be disbanded, so all these excuses, I know. I've said it before and it's a bit harsh, but I raise my kids saying excuses are for losers. You come to me with an excuse, you're trying to find your way out of what you should have done. Don't give me an excuse. Let's see how we can get this done. So what about our leaders? I've got an example here, and I don't want to be too harsh, but we have an apostle in the Bible. The inconsistencies of Peter. Peter had faith to step out on the water, but became afraid and sunk. Jesus was there with him. He saw Jesus walking on the water. All you had to do is imitate him, keep your eyes on him. You're standing on it, so I can stand on it, but then went, nah, and started sinking, Right there. Peter rebuked Jesus after confessing Jesus was the Messiah. What did Jesus say? Get behind me, Satan. Peter boldly declared he would never disown Jesus in Matthew 26:33, but denied him 3 times in Matthew 26:69-75. Peter ate freely with the Gentile Christians in Acts 10, but withdrew from the Jewish believers with James in Antioch, which Paul confronted him about in Galatians 2:11-14. He didn't want to eat with the non-circumcised. There's a bit of hypocrisy going on there, right? So where do these inconsistencies of the human race come from? Preaching versus practicing. So behaviors and beliefs of humans. Preaching versus practicing. Do you practice what you preach? I know it's a common parenting phrase of do what I say, not what I do. Hey, I'm the adult. I can do what I want. Just do what I say. Moral double standards. For an example, maybe you oppose the death penalty, but you say killing's okay in war, maybe. Just for an example. Contradictory statements. Maybe you're an advocate for free speech, but you can't say that. Don't say that. Desire for opposing outcomes. So maybe it's holidays, it's coming holiday season. I want to relax. So we go, yeah, let's just relax. I want to put my feet up on the deck chair and relax. But we go, oh no, I'm going to go fishing. That's relaxing. But we end up fueling up the boat, fueling up the wagon, competing for a spot at the boat ramp, backing in the boat. We've got to bring the boat back in after fishing, getting bait everywhere, cleaning down the boat. It's like, whew, that was so relaxing. Cognitive dissonance. Now, For an example, I'm on a diet, I'm trying to lose some weight, so I'm going to order a Diet Coke at McDonald's with my Mac Attack in the side. Yeah, what about that? It's very conscious. Maybe I know that smoking's bad for my health, but it tempers my stress, so I have to have a cigarette, Things like that, that's cognitive dissonance. Failure to follow through, to commit, but not have the foresight to know what it entails in its entirety. We have to be able to follow through on our commitments. Emotional variability. So maybe a situation, you might make a decision in a situation, but that decision might change whether you're stressed or whether you're happy or whether you're angry. You might make different decisions due to the emotions you're experiencing at that time. And social influence, peer pressure, it's all around us. Even the fads that come on social media, it's like, I don't know, what's a new one? I can't even think of one. Maybe a new diet, a new craze, have you seen these? These are really good. You buy it. I don't really need it, but it works good. Sits in the drawer. They cause inconsistencies in our decisions and our behaviours. So lucky we're Christians and it doesn't affect us. So, hang on. Inconsistencies of Christians. So there's enough denominations to fill a book. And this is the inconsistencies to intricacies in the Bible, things that one might say is more important than the other, and the other one says, well, I think this is more important than the other. There's inconsistencies throughout. Hypocrisy and sin, I know the world throws it at us a lot. What about all the preachers that have abused? Now, we can say to them, that's the person, not the faith. But it's like, well, if you practice what you preach, then the hypocrisy and sin should not be there. Selective adherence to scriptures. Do we cherry pick the ones that fit our narrative of our belief at this time? I believe this, so where's a scripture that's going to back my argument up? And you're wrong, I'm right. Differing interpretations of the Bible, depending on what versions you read, you can. Some people argue for this interpretation, some argue for this interpretation. The list can go on, from Christians that have no problem with Ouija boards or Eastern mysticism, with the New Age Reformation that's coming through. Now, some of you might say, what are you talking about? Well, lucky I don't know about that, so it doesn't affect me. Now, if you're driving and you're on holiday and you're going through a settlement from the open road and the speed limit's 100k and you're going through a settlement and a policeman puts the sirens on behind you and you pull over and he goes, do you know what the speed limit is here? Go, no, 100k? So, no, you came into a settlement, it's 80k. Is he going to let you off the speeding ticket because you didn't see the sign? We cannot live and let ignorance be our excuse for not having the knowledge on these things. You need to see it. You need to be aware of it in case it creeps in to go, oh, no, that is not the truth of the Bible. So let's redeem Peter here, eh? A living stone. As you come to him, a living stone rejected by men, but in the sight of God chosen and precious. Who's that? Jesus. You yourselves, like living stones, are built up as a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood, to offer spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. Now, when we talk about Jesus is the rock, what do we think of? What do you think of? Jesus is the rock. Good. Nice. the cornerstone, the reference point, the firm foundation. I like to think of Jesus as like the side of a mountain. Immovable. I can build on that. It's never going to shake. It's never going to... And it makes me laugh when people say, just pray hard enough and Jesus will come parachuting in. And I'm like, yeah, my rock's going to come parachuting into your situation. He's going to flatten the whole place. Remember, the rock doesn't move, but people stray away from the rock. You can see the rock as a reference point in the horizon to get your bearings, can't you? He will seek out the one and for the 99. He will. But he's not going to leave you there and camp there where you got lost. You go back to the safety of the flock. So that all should be living stones built on Christ, the true foundation stone, like you said, building the house. A spiritual house, the habitation of the Spirit in us. A holy priesthood, where not only the priest but the temple, Christians have received Christ and are His dwelling place. Consecrated to God. What are spiritual sacrifices? Well, the first thing that needs to be done is our full submission to the Lord. Selfless and total offering of one's entire being, life, will, intellect, and actions to God. Only then, following afterwards, prayers, giving thanks, alms, deeds, and demonstrating reverence, devotion, and dutiful love towards God. First needs to come the full surrender, the submission to the Lord, before any of this is going to be taking effect. If we get the cart before the horse, we have a problem and everything goes awry. Through Jesus Christ, our meditating high priest before God, only Jesus makes us acceptable. Everything's through Jesus Christ. So, where are we going to find this consistency? So consistently, how am I going to act this out? Well, our consistency is found in the Lord, as only He is consistently perfect. That is our reference point. That is our place to get a good example. God is the creator that brought chaos into ruin. Oh, sorry. Shoot. Contradictory there. So brought chaos into order in Genesis 1 where He formed the earth. And it is in God's nature. In 1 Corinthians 14:33, you'll see that it is His calm, His peace. He is the consistency that we crave for. So what is our role? So our role, we should be His disciples, okay? Denying ourselves and following Him. Discipleship comes at a cost, but it is more fruitful as we draw near to Him. He will draw near to us for a deeper relationship. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. We must rise above the condemning heart. The heart's going to try and stop this from happening, isn't it? We must not be like the Israelites, unsubmitted people complaining and grumbling, not seeing the goodness and provision of God, instead of what is the word of the Lord, being all in for Jesus. Yeah? Are you a Jesus freak? Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, so now, not only as in my presence, but much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who works in you for His good pleasure. The Spirit works in us, with us. The Holy Spirit is the only one who can change us, but He isn't going to do it without us. We've got to be engaged. We have to play a part in that. It's like prayers. You know, we put up prayers. We're putting up prayers in situations areas that aren't honouring God. And God's like, over here, they don't choose me. They're not honouring me over here. Yeah, Lord, please work in there. So they don't even want me. You know? Why are you praying me into an area where they are chosen to not honour me? Our purpose of our prayers should always be to bring glory to the Lord as well. So in our prayers, I'm praying for, Lord, my healing so that I can serve you better. That's the second part, is where it means everything to God. The first part is for me, isn't it? You know? We were doing the prayer group, and when we were talking about Jesus being the high priest and being the intercessor to the Father, and saying kind of like, oh, Johnny down the road wants the keys to the Beamer. You know, you think of Jesus saying to God, oh, Dad, Johnny down the road wants the keys to the Beamer, to the BMW in the garage. No, I don't think so. You know what? How does Jesus look interceding on our behalf on some of our prayers? Lord, bring the money. What is he going to be like? What? I can't ask Dad for that. You know? It's a good thing to keep our minds sober and going, actually, you know, our high priest intercedes for us. He will render to each one according to his work, to those who by patience in well-doing seek glory and honor and immortality. He will give eternal life. But for those who are self-seeking and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, there will be wrath and fury. It's nearly like a gladiator going to war, or the Olympic Games. In well-doing, seek for glory, honor, and immortality. We should be ambitious for Christ. We should be cutting new ground. We should be striving out. We should be stomping down in the name of the Lord, taking possession, yeah? We need to redeem our time because it is short as a breath and uncertain. Your plans may not eventuate. Once time is up, it's gone forever on this earth. If people were as lavish with their money as they are with their time, you would think that they were crazy. Time is 1,000 times more precious than money, and you cannot buy it back once it is gone. What are you doing with Jesus? So Jesus said to the Jews who had believed him, if you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Are we living a continually transformed life? Are we better today than we were yesterday? Are we striving for excellence? In God's name, are we striving to bring glory to his name daily? There's no clock. Oh, yeah. A lazy man is a man that prays for things he's not prepared to sweat for. The problem is the Lord hears your prayers but blesses your hands. What are you going to do for him? You're going to be the hands and feet of Jesus? The devil's not after your comfort. He is quite happy that you're comfortable. He's after your calling. The focused man is lethal. Don't give him what he came for. Focus. Be purposeful. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, and what is good, acceptable, and perfect. Romans 12:1 and 2. Start doing what Jesus did. Jesus reveals the will of the Father in what he did. I didn't see much written about the Lord in his holiday batch and the Coromandel over Christmas, or over, what would it be up there? It would be mid-year. All we saw was works, service on his time on earth. He was here for a very short time. God is more interested in us becoming a godly person, learning to follow and trust him. That's going to take a consistent approach with the Lord to go through different areas of our life. Rather than solving your problems, he has a lovingly difficult way of just to wait. He looks beyond your request to push past something that shouldn't be there. He loves you too much to give you what you want too quickly. We need to learn the lessons, go through the experiences with God first in our mind and our hearts. So how can we be Jesus? Well, the thing that came to mind for me was, are we a safe person for each other to approach and disclose and ask for support and lean on their shoulder? Jesus was safe for the woman at the well. He was alone with the woman at the well. She was safe. John was safe in his bosom. John didn't question his masculinity after resting in Jesus' bosom. For Peter's denial, for Judas's betrayal, Jesus' accusers were safe. If we are slow to react or get offended, we would be able to get to the root of the problem and resolve it positively. To adopt this would draw the church closer together. People are afraid of what they don't know. To open up, we need to let people know that they are safe. Are we prepared to get uncomfortable for Jesus? A path to humility will be putting God first in our lives and conversations daily. So let me pose this question to you as I pose to myself. If your messages and accounts were open up for all to see, what would it portray? Who are we imitating? All the best theology and church attendance means nothing if we're imitating the world. We need to stop trying to look like a cleaner version of the ungodliness around us. We are to be set apart. And that's me. So, thank you very much.